Good morning and welcome to Inside Tennessee. We're glad you're with us on this Sunday morning along with John North. I'm your moderator, John Becker. We'll get to our guests in a second. First, let's set the scene with a map of District 18. This is our focus this morning, and this is a House of Representatives district for the State House. And you can see the parts of Knoxville that it's covering, and this is an effort to show you what gerrymandering looks like. Look at that district. I mean, they make no sense in many ways, but politically they do. One of the people running in this race is Bryan Goldberg. He is the Democrat. We did invite the Republican, who is the current office holder, Representative Elaine Davis. She said she couldn't join us because she's taking care of her sick sister. We will get to some back and forth between both campaigns in a second, but first, Mr. Goldberg, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you very much for having me.
Glad to have you with us. Let me introduce our panel. We'll get to questions. Susan Richardson Williams is a Republican and runs her own PR firm.
Good morning, John.
Good morning. Don Bosch is a Democrat and runs his own law firm.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning. Mr. Goldberg, let's start with why you're running in District 18.
Sure. I think it's a purple district, and I think it's a district that is begging for different representation. I think Knox County on the whole, and I believe you all talked about it last week, is having a shift politically. And I think there's a lot of good people for the last number of years, maybe 6 or 7 years, that have worked to try to express a changing atmosphere politically in West Knoxville. And I'm just really happy to put my hat into the political arena on this election because I think it's primed and ready for some change.
Before we get into the political questions, let's talk a little bit about your background. For viewers who don't know it, give us a sense of your day job and, again, where you came from.
Yeah, so day to day, I run a disaster restoration company called Belfour. I've been doing that since 2010. I've been in the business since 2007. It's a kind of an odd business in between insurance and construction. So we clean up disasters, but I've been a Tennessean for 22 years. I came up here all the way back in 2002 on a swimming scholarship to the University of Tennessee, captained the swim team, had a great time at UT, and decided to stay here.
Got it.
Go Vols.
Yeah.
Bryan, let's talk a little about some of the specifics that would contrast you with the current incumbent. What is different about you as compared to her?
Right.
What sets you apart, if you will?
I go back to my original political experience, right? I'm a junior in high school in 1999, Gore v. Bush. Mm-hmm. And I'm a Jewish kid at a Catholic high school, is the only one, and my best friends were on the other side of the political spectrum. And I had to learn how to talk to people at lunch. And they were on Bush, and I was on Gore. We were hanging chads. We were the county, Broward County and Palm Beach County of that election, yeah. Right? And that kind of started a discourse in our country that I don't think a lot of us are happy with. But at that time in my life, junior and senior year, I learned how to talk to people that had opposing views, understand where they were coming from. It honed my message and my view, but it also opened me up to them. And I think that's a fundamental difference between me, my opponent, and the Republican Party in Tennessee writ large. I want to work with people. I want to work to understand where they're coming from, and I want to find out where we agree there's a problem, and then work on solutions.
You mentioned, I was looking at your website, something about that the legislature is a man-made disaster.
Yeah.
Do you consider Elaine Davis to be part of that?
I think that her first election, I think that was about 2.5 years ago. I think that primary against Janet Testerman was a disaster. I think she drug Janet through the mud. There was a lot of mudslinging going on there. Her election versus the previous Democratic candidate, Greg Kaplan, there was a lot of mudslinging there. I think we'll talk about it maybe sometime soon. We're back at it again. I think we can do better. I think disasters come in all shapes and sizes, but we need to clean up the mess. And I think we need to work to clean up the mess by electing people who will better represent the constituents and focus on the issues that people are talking about, not the crazy nonsense on the extremes.
Let's talk about the issue you just brought up, because you were very concerned about some accusations made against you and your wife in particular. Explain what you heard, what you saw, and your reaction to it.
Yeah, so it's my understanding that the House Republican Caucus paid for a website that has a hit piece on me and my wife that suggests that we don't pay our taxes, and they list an unknown reason as to why we didn't pay a penalty. They go so far as to bring my wife into this race and have the audacity to list my home address. Two things which we should not do in politics, and I think there's bipartisan support on that. The truth of the matter is my wife and I were victims of check fraud and check theft. The Knox County trustee was presented with that information. They wiped off our late fees. We paid it immediately. The Knox County Sheriff's Office was great to work with. My wife handled most of it. The Knox County Sheriff's Office put her in contact with the Evansville, Indiana Police Department. They were great to work. They found the guy. They issued a bench warrant. He was arrested, and it's going through the judicial system. There's a lot of people out there that are suffering with check fraud. This is something that's on the rise. To make that a political issue is shameful.
And you implicated your opponent in knowing about this as well.
Well, it's the House Republican Caucus. The last time I checked, Elaine Davis is part of the House Republican Caucus. I think that she's made a public statement that she doesn't condone it, which I appreciate, and that I think there's also a public statement that she called the leadership requesting them to stop that. As of right now, I believe it's still up. And so one of two things is going on. Either they're not listening to Elaine and she doesn't have any sway, or they're just not interested in
We're going to get to hang on. We're going to get to the statement, and then you can ask questions afterwards. But I want to show this statement right now because I did reach out directly to Elaine Davis for comment on this, and this was her response. I was not involved with nor aware of the website, as my opponent well knows, due to his cease and desist letter addressed to the caucus. Okay, we're going to leave it there for a second. We've got to pay some bills on Inside Tennessee. We're going to be back right after this with more of our conversation.